It's my honor as well, ladies and gentlemen, to introduce the Chief of Staff to the President Vice Chancellor, Professor David Abiodun. With us here, ladies and gentlemen, is the University Registrar, Professor Jonathan Wosu. I'd like to recognize all Associate Vice Presidents here present, all Provosts here present, Deans of Schools, Heads of Departments, Professors, the great Aquila graduating class, faculty members, heads of units, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. I do not know if you remember how we feel about a good new book, how it feels in your hand when you touch the pages of the good new book, the crispness of the pages, the pleasant smell of the texts. Today, ladies and gentlemen, we have as our convocation speaker a man who is himself a book on cyber security, a book on institutional transformation, himself a book on accounting technology, himself a book on finance and management, himself a book on governance and policy expertise. This individual, phenomenal and remarkable for his expansive and extensive intellect and knowledge. He is a book. A book is for the reading, for the study, to ponder, to guide, and to quote. Mr. Olasukami Joseph Tebe, FCA. We have this great honor, not just to welcome you in the classroom. It is our utmost pleasure, and with permission of the President Vice Chancellor, may I request that we give him a standing ovation. Mr. Joseph Olasukami Tebe, this hallowed hall of intellectuals wait with bated breath to receive and to hear from your words of wisdom. Thank you very much for finding time to come here. You may be seated. Ladies and gentlemen, may I at this point invite Mr. President Vice Chancellor, Professor Ademola Estai, for his opening remarks. Let's make him feel welcome.
Our distinguished convocation speaker of today, Mr. Joseph Olasukami Tebe, the principal officers of Babcock University and the associates, provosts, deans, heads of department that are here present today, faculty and staff of Babcock University, great Aquila graduating class, Great Aquila graduating class.
Life by grace.
Greatest Aquila graduating class.
Life by grace.
Great Babcock University students.
Grace.
Members of the press. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great pleasure to welcome you all to this Convocation Lecture that is bringing together the best of Babcock University. I see here, seated here today, provost, deans, associate officers, and principal officers in their great number. But most importantly, Aquila graduating class. This notable day witnesses the beginning of the series of activities marking the 2021 Convocation Ceremony of Babcock University. I wish to say at this junction that there is no better program that can be hosted to set the convocation events rolling than today's lecture. It is coming at a time when the whole world is coming to terms with its social, economic, political, and technological disruptions occasioned by COVID-19 pandemic. I wish to say that the paradigm in the world are permanently shifted. Nations of the world are figuring out and bracing themselves up to what will become of the economy and the future of work post-pandemic. I wish to say, ladies and gentlemen, that the Nigerian states cannot afford to stand aloof in the conversation going on globally. Ladies and gentlemen, this morning I am heartily pleased to welcome to our campus an eminent and renowned civil engineer, first-class graduate of civil engineering of Obafemi Awolowo University, turned accountant, an administrator par excellence, a guru financial analyst, a consummate tax advisor, and an incurable optimist about the Nigerian states. In the discussion we had together in my office today, we were joking that he also had his forage into politics, and perhaps if not because of his father is blunt to a fault, perhaps he would have been the executive governor for your state today. We are enthused by your commitment to lay aside your busy schedules to be with us today and to lend your presence, goodwill, and well wishes to the Aquila graduating class of 2021. Ladies and gentlemen, the topic of presentation at this Convocation Lecture, which is disruptive technology in the post-pandemic world, prospects for the economy and future work, is not only apt but very contemporary because of the disruptive influence of COVID-19 pandemic globally and to the Nigerian economy in particular. Ladies and gentlemen, the one to present this engaging and stimulating topic, Mr. Joseph Olasunkamitebe, is one of the finest intelligentsia in our country. He has worked at several blue-chip financial and auditing institutions, home and abroad, holding various sector management positions. Our speaker of today is a management consultant, tax advisor, and a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, with experience in institutional transformation, reforms, strategy formulation, and blueprint development, project management, change and implement, and diagnostic reviews, and ERP IT solution review, and many other. I believe we all believe a lot to gain. We have a lot to gain from him. I will therefore enjoin all of us in this auditorium to listen attentively and make the best use of this opportunity for the greater good of ourselves and our dear country, Nigeria. Ladies and gentlemen, in conclusion, let me share my belief in agreement with some of the Asian philosophers that every nation has a message to deliver, a mission to fulfill, a destiny to reach. This great country, Nigeria, has a message too, and a mission. Together with Mr. Joseph Olasunkanmi, Tegbe, and all of us, we can figure out how to help Nigerian nation to actualize our vast and mighty potential. Today will be the start of an important conversation. Let's keep it going. On behalf of the University Administration, other principal officers, faculty staff, and Aquila graduating class, I welcome you all. Thank you for listening.
My assignment at this point in time, as contained on number 6 of our program for this hour, is to introduce our guest Convocation Lecturer of the day, Mr. Joseph Olasunkanmi, FCA. Permit me at this time to invite him to come to the floor, please, sir. Let me quickly welcome you. As he comes, I will also invite from the University Orators, Professor O. Jacob Haliso, to come forward to read the citation. Prof.
The President, Vice Chancellor, sir, Babcock University Principal Officers, our distinguished guest lecturer, University officers, deans, heads of departments, the celebrants of today, the provost and the officers of the College of Postgraduate Studies, faculty, staff, students of Babcock University here present, and the great Aquila graduating class. Some people are forgetting the rest of it. Great Aquila graduating class. Ladies and gentlemen, standing before us this morning is one that probably cannot be introduced or welcomed enough this morning. Every person who has taken the rostrum has paid homage to this illustrious son of Nigeria. So my task is very simple, and I will keep it quite brief, to introduce to you the guest speaker, Mr. Joseph Olasunkanmi Tegbe. He is a senior partner and head of the advisory services of KPMG Professional Services Nigeria. He is also the KPMG Africa Lead for Cybersecurity Practice. Mr. Joseph Tegbe was a national scholar and award-winning student at both the secondary and university levels. He graduated with a first-class degree in civil engineering from the University of Ife and a master's in public administration from the University of Birmingham in the United Kingdom. He is also an alumnus of the Lagos Business School, of INSEAD in France, of the Harvard Kennedy School of Government, and also an alumnus of the Harvard Business School. Mr. Tegbe is obviously more ready than all of us here. Mr. Joseph Tebe has an extensive and wide range of experience spanning over 30 years in public sector and organizational reforms, in institutional reform, in strategy formulation and implementation, through leading and managing diverse projects in varied industries in both private and public sectors. In addition, he has led large and complex technology implementation projects across Africa. Today, Mr. Tebe is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants of Nigeria, FCA. He is a fellow of the Chartered Institute of Taxation, FCIT, and he is certified in Governance Enterprise IT, CGEIT. Prior to his career in consulting, he has worked as a tax consultant. He has worked as audit manager on major local and multinational companies. He has also worked as head of materials accounting for Shell Petroleum Development Company, SPDC. He is an active member of and consultant to the Infrastructure and Human Capital Development Policy Commissions of the Nigerian Economic Summit Group, NESG. Beyond his service to the profession, beyond his service to the academic world, beyond his service as stated before, he is also currently chairman of the Board of Trustees of Unity Schools Old Students Association, USOSA. Incidentally, that means you're my chairman too, sir, as I am an old girl of the Federal Government Girls College. He is also chairman of the Federal Government College of Ogbomoso Old Students Association, and he sits on the board of so many other educational institutions and corporate entities. Beyond the mask, beyond the public face that we see, this is a man whose passion is in service, in reforming the public sector. He's interested in politics. And again, that means we have the second thing in common, because I study politics for a living. Mr. Tebe enjoys traveling, he enjoys golfing, and he is the father of 2 sons. He's happily married. Ladies and gentlemen.
One thing I forgot to mention to Vice Chancellor and all of you here, he said I've read more than, I think I've read more than most of I don't agree. My life ambition, after all this, is to still be a professor. And I'm just about to start my doctorate program. And hopefully, after my stint in politics, I still go back to the classroom. And because there's nothing as important as impacting knowledge. The topic I have to bring today, I guess we are still on slide 1, is disruptive technology in the post-pandemic world. What do we see as the prospects for the economy and future of work? Then we move to slide 2. I'll be covering disruptive technologies. What are disruptive technologies? What do they mean? In the second section, I'll be covering the global impact of COVID-19. And in my concluding section, I'll be covering disruptive technology and the new normal, which is the new way we work today. I was cracking the joke, and I was exchanging with the Vice Chancellor this morning, that I had a client that insisted in January 2020 that I have to fly into Abuja to make a presentation along with my colleagues from US and the UK. Otherwise, I should forget that I've done my work. And COVID came March 2020 in Nigeria, and I got called 6 months after to please come and make the presentation virtually. And And I started laughing when he called me. That's what COVID has done, and that's what the topic technology has done to us. Let's move to slide 4. Data today is the oil of the 21st century. We talk about disruptive technology, we talk about digital revolution. We cannot have a conversation about disruptive technologies without talking about an essential ingredient. An ingredient that sounds good as an input to the functioning of these technologies, as well as the byproduct of processing. This ingredient is data. Today we call it big data. And we're coming very quickly to terms with the value that data drives in our world today. Indeed, data is becoming such an asset that governments, businesses, and even professionals see it as the oil of the 21st century. Have an interesting infographic that shows the data output when we use some popular technology platform. It's just 60 seconds. And the numbers we see are quite staggering. I guess you can see that infographic there, with 60 seconds at the center. In 60 seconds today, 190 million emails are sent across the world. In just 60 seconds, 59 WhatsApp messages are sent. In just 1 minute, which is 60 seconds, 4.1 million Google search or queries are made. 19 million SMS messages are sent. And if you see that the WhatsApp messages have exceeded SMS that will be sent because of the interactiveness of WhatsApp. And there are other statistics there that are very mind-boggling. And this exponential growth of the data is summed up by a statement from a great technology luminary, the former CEO of Google, Educ. And he says, every 2 days now, in every 2 days, we create as much information as we did from the dawn of civilization up to 2000. Just in every 2 days. Cumulatively, from the dawn of civilization up to 2010, we create such information. In plain English, it means that the volume of data outputted every 2 days as a byproduct of our interaction with technology is as much as the entire volume of data that was recorded from the dawn of civilization. Next slide. We can see the manifestation of the value that disruptive technologies offer when we look at the metamorphosis of the business landscape in the last decade. Indeed, I would say digital technologies are disrupting entire industries and reshaping the business landscape. Technological advancement shapes up markets and prompts questions around which companies will succeed or fail in response to this market disruption. This is because this technology significantly alter the way that consumers, businesses, and industries operate. Because of change in the cost or access to the product or services, dramatically changing how we gather information, create products, or interact. The landscape of most of the valuable companies in the world tells a story of how digital or disruptive technologies can define the success of businesses. You can see out of the top 10 there, businesses in 2020, 80% of the most valuable businesses in the world today use this disruptive technology in some way or the other. And this has accelerated their value realization in the only way the market recognizes. The picture I have there also shows that companies like Apple, Microsoft, have not only gone from strength to strength, but have consolidated their stance as the top 2 businesses today, all due to innovation using disruptive technology. Most of you in the room, some of you in the room, remember 2 companies, Kodak and Blockbuster. At the point in time, Kodak and Blockbuster were rated very highly, ranked number 1, number 2, number 3 in the world. Today, because Kodak did not respond to disruptive technology, Kodak is extinct. You remember Polaroid camera? Yes. When we snap, it comes out. That was the height of their innovation. They didn't respond to disruptive technology. They've been replaced by what? Your Android phone, your iPhone. Can even snap better resolution. And we did a study as KPMG last year. Across the globe, most CEOs of companies and businesses, they say they are making waves because they even self-destruct their business technology. You don't wait for the technology to disrupt it. You self-destruct it yourself. So, again, what you will see is the value realization that disruptive technology is bringing. Slide 6. So, how can you identify disruptive technology? Especially with the myriad of technologies out there. Disruptive technologies can be characterized by 5 key attributes. And those attributes are the attributes in blocks there. The first one is radical novelty in the method or function of technology. For you to say something is disruptive technology, you must have a radical novelty. This refers to the way technology is built. Internal combustion engine versus electric car. If you refine Range Rover, you make the Range Rover, make it supercharged, and it becomes autobiography, you're just enhancing the same mechanism. You cannot compare a Range Rover autobiography to a Tesla car today. The emission is 0. The engine on is almost here. Those are what disruptive technology means. Or an application of a technology, new use cases for the technology. For instance, we've seen wireless communication technology find an original application in wireless telegraphy, yet it's now found in numerous subsequent applications in several domains, from video to mobile broadband to Wi-Fi to Bluetooth. So when we say something is disruptive technology, you must have that radical novelty. The other attribute is fast growth. This is usually observed across several dimensions, such as the number of users, extent of public and private funding, knowledge output that is produced by that technology, patents or publications, even product proliferation. The disruptive technology usually attracts a lot of attention in its habits. And you remember when Uber started, when car sharing technology started, you remember the kind of attention it attracted. A community of enthusiasts is another attribute. This concept leverages majorly true reality that most disruptive technologies are open source. This gives the public, especially technology enthusiasts, the ability to develop technology organically. For you to say something is disruptive technology, it must have social economic impact. And this relates to the ability of the technology to create new industry or transform existing ones or change the basis of competition. The extent of the impact of these technologies introduced across various levels of social economy is extremely critical. And I'll cover some of them later. The last, but not the least, 5th attribute is the uncertain future or ambiguity of that technology. It means at any point in time, for you to say it's a disruptive technology, it means the impact of the technology has not been fully realized. And adoption is not mainstream yet. And we can see this with blockchain, for instance, in the finance industry. But the other one that we will see very soon, it's even start ride-sharing application that we have today, which is now prevalent everywhere, where you can be traced and we're not having people sharing. You can actually book a taxi or book a car jointly. You can actually do all sort of different things with this. So we have a lot of examples of disruptive technologies, ranging from virtual reality, cloud, 3D printing, drones, to blockchain. But these are just the tip of the iceberg. Let me spend a few minutes describing a few of these applications and some of the technologies. I will start with artificial intelligence. AI, as we call it, artificial intelligence, is a technology paradigm that seeks to give cognitive ability to software, enabling the software to perform tasks that were once reserved only for human beings. But now technology does it, robots does it. It is used in numerous applications, from fraud protection to video games to spam detection in email. AI helps to streamline company operations and ease the day-to-day activities of individuals. Systems such as chatbots, virtual assistants like Google Home or Apple Siri or Alexa today can be used for AI-enabled tasks such as tracking the estimated time of arrival of online food orders and answering questions and taking requests. You can imagine being in a hotel, you sit on your bed, and you actually call Alexa and say, Alexa, can you open the blind? And Alexa opens the blind for you. And you tell Alexa, I want to watch TV. And it says, what channel? And it says entertainment. It says, what options do you want? Alexa, I want to order meal. You're sitting on your bed. And Alexa says, tell me what you want. You say, I want rice and flour. Take it. It's happened to me. I've experienced it. And see, what this is telling you, basically, it's saying that human beings will need to use our brain for something more strategic and not mundane day-to-day things. Let me take blockchain. Blockchain was developed through Bitcoin for disrupting the banking sector. Where ledgers are highly centralized, blockchain utilizes the distributed ledger technology. And through its decentralized and cryptographic components, blockchain removes the requirement of a third party in financial transactions. These are approvals here and there. And this decentralization, security, and the transparent features of blockchain are intended to increase the security of financial transactions while also reducing the hefty bank charges today. We see the revolution that blockchain is doing to the financial sector. Let me take Internet of Things. What I described in the first chart I showed you that happens in 60 minutes, 60 seconds, are driven by Internet of Things. And with an expansive network of devices that are connected to the Internet. The Internet of Things helps to reduce the gap between digital and physical sphere. Although the potential to connect other devices to the Internet is not new, a greater number of devices are now being connected to the Internet than ever before. Internet of Things will help make the transition into smart cities, where everything is tracked, monitored through an application. It also has potential to make cities cost effective and safer. Today, I'm sure some of you have experienced it. With your mobile phone, I can actually open the gate to my house. With my mobile phone, I can actually open the door to my house. With your mobile phone, you can actually switch on the light in your house. With your mobile phone, you can track through CCTV in your house what your house help and your buildings are doing. Those things were not in existence 5 years ago. We're just one other word I need to talk about before I leave this slide is the robotic process automation. We call it RPA. The last place I delivered this lecture, I told and I warned accountants and auditors that with robotic process automation today, companies that close their books in 30 days before, after year end, can close their book in 5 days. Because with RPA, you can actually raise accounting entries without human intervention. You can actually do accruals. For those who are in accounting, they understand what I'm talking about. So you can close your book, faster. And we've seen companies who've implemented RPA. Some were helping to implement RPA today, and it's causing, reduction in the number of human beings you need to run those organizations. I'll tell you what that means to us before I finish my lecture today. Slide 7. Very distinguished ladies and gentlemen, you need to be aware that disruptive technologies are closer to you than you think. It is not some alien concept. Think about products you have interacted with that has provided you with unprecedented convenience and options. That product most likely has been delivered using some disruptive technology. And like I said earlier, industries have been redefined and in some way created by these technologies. Some examples of industries that have witnessed significant disruption: transportation, and I talked about ride-sharing application. And you can see there, you have Uber, you have Bolt, you have Easy, all sorts. Taxi services have been long a traditional option for those seeking transportation. With the advent of ride-sharing applications, customers can order for transportation from individuals rather than the company. Users don't have to step out onto the road to flag or hail the car anymore. They simply use an app to arrange their pickup at the preferred time and location. When this started, it was fought in the UK. The Black Cabs Union fought it to almost a standstill, and we all thought, how can we leave the Black Cabs and be taking an Uber that we don't even know who's driving it? But then they refined it. You will know who's coming to pick you. You have his picture, you have his phone number. You can send that picture and phone number, to somebody else. This guy taking me. He takes you somewhere and they find him. So security also enhanced. Let's take communication. Conferencing technology today has redefined how work and collaborations are done. The world has been brought into our living room today. As work can be done across geographies in one location, this reality has been the next thing remote working today. I'm sure most of you never thought that you would be working at 8 p.m., you'll be having conference meetings, you'll be having meetings on Saturday. It poses a threat to our health, but again, it makes work a bit more easier. Let's look at social interaction. For those of you who are on Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, and the rest of them. Social networking disrupted traditional social interactions in numerous ways. It made it possible for people to see what friends are doing more easily than before, compared to when a phone call, email, or letter was necessary to get an update. Entertainment is unlimited today, and it's cheap. Every day the Netflix cost is going down. At the beginning of COVID, when we went down to almost like $10, I think you can pay a special budget of $5 for Netflix. E-commerce, the likes of Jumia, Honda, Amazon, eBay, Gigi, have redefined e-commerce space. They make nearly any product accessible via the internet. Shoppers no longer have to leave their home and shop at brick and mortar stores. An average young man, young lady today hardly go to any store to buy them. They order online and it's delivered. The challenge today with e-commerce is that can we still continue to order groceries and flowers via the net, because we can't perceive the smell or feel it or taste it. But I can tell you, in another 2 years, you will be able to smell and feel the grocery you want to buy on the net. Slide 8. The COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in unprecedented challenges. And this can be seen from the forecast of the global poverty trend, where the percentage change in the number of people in poverty grew greatly due to pandemic. If you look at that chart there, in 2018, you had a reduction in poverty population by 1.8% globally. 2019, a reduction of 1.5%. But in 2020, due to pandemic, there was an increase of 7.1% in the poverty population across the world. However, for me, in every problem lies an opportunity. Disruptive technologies possess massive potential for the next wave of innovation in response to these poverty challenges that we have today. Let's go to slide 10. I'm sure you will agree with me. Slide 10. Impact of global recession on GDP. I'm sure you will agree with me that COVID-19 pandemic has resulted in unprecedented challenges in public health, food systems, and economy at large, ranging from the loss of lives to the loss of livelihood to social and economic costs of the pandemic, which are pervasive across every sector of the globe today. Research that was conducted paints a clear picture of the impact of the pandemic. For instance, the International Monetary Fund (IMF) projects that even with the $18 trillion that are already spent to stimulate economies across the world, the global economy will still lose another $12 trillion or more by the end of 2021. Another report by the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation stated that COVID-19 financial loss is twice as great as the Great Recession of 2008. When the Great Recession of 2008 happened, and you have big companies collapsing, we thought that was the worst we can ever see. But the COVID-19 pandemic actually is estimated to cost twice that financial loss. And the last time that many countries were in recession at once, ever, the way we saw it in 2020 was in 1870. And that was literally 2 lifetimes ago. We all don't pray that this happens again. An Oxfam report states that about 2 billion people have had no support from their government in their time of need. None of the social protection support to those who are unemployed or elderly, or children or families, provided in low or middle income countries has been adequate to meet their basic needs today. These are troubling indicators that the pandemic has actually caused. Slide 11, please. The COVID-19 pandemic has also impacted a number of industries. And I've just highlighted the most salient of them. Some of you here, as postgraduate students and graduates, you probably work in one of these industry clusters, whether manufacturing, hospitality, agriculture, education, or whichever one. Let's look at the impact that the pandemic has had on those industries. Manufacturing, for a start. The negative impact of pandemic on business operations has been clear. Importation issues and staffing deficiencies stood out as the key concern for businesses due to disruption to supply chains, as well as social distancing policy. For many roles within manufacturing companies today, working from home was not a viable option. And it showed in their bottom line. Their bottom line dipped significantly. Hospitality is one industry that was most hit by the pandemic. They have possibly had the hardest with its hourly workers facing potentially devastating hardship. The report states that the hotel industry revenue per available room in the United States fell to 11.6% in the week of March 2020. You know, the pandemic started, it was January, February. While in China, occupancy rate of hotel fell 89% by the end of January 2020. Since March 1, 2020, hotel occupancy in Germany decreased by over 36%. Overall, the COVID crisis has led to international discussions of the hospitality industry and significant slump in the hotel market. The rest, half of 2020, most hotels were shut in Nigeria. Restaurants were shut. Some people had borrowed money to fund that business. Except government intervenes on your behalf, there's nothing you can do about it. You will definitely not be able to pay back that. Another part of the hospitality industry that was very hit was the aviation sector. A lot of airlines declared bankruptcy in 2020 as a result of the pandemic. Those who had paid order to Boeing or to Airbus for new planes actually have cancelled the order. Now those industries are now opening up. Another sector is agri. The resilience of the agri sector has been tested by COVID-19. A global crash in demand for hospitality sector also affected the agri industry. If the hotels, restaurants are not operating, who is going to actually order for the food? Education sector. I still learned that most schools and universities are going back up to the you're still doing shift or you're doing rotation. My office, since we closed KPMG office March 18th, 2020, and we have not reopened to today. We still operate gradually. Over 100 countries have imposed a nationwide closure on education facilities. UNESCO actually estimates that close to 900 million learners have been affected by the closure of education institutions during the pandemic period. As a result of this, there may be learning losses experienced by some students, especially the younger ones, due to limited personal interactions with their teachers. Healthcare. The COVID-19 pandemic has caused an unprecedented challenge and also opportunity in the healthcare systems worldwide. In particular, the risk to healthcare workers is one of the greatest vulnerabilities of the healthcare sector worldwide. Considering that most healthcare workers are unable to work remotely, strategies for early deployment of viral testing for asymptomatic and frontline healthcare staff have also been implemented. And we'll see this going forward. It's not going to go away. Opportunities for companies engaged in vaccine and drug development have simultaneously emerged. Like I said, when you see challenges, there are opportunities. Some people cash in on it, Johnson & Johnson, Biotechnic, Moderna, and a host of others work collaboratively to develop a vaccine for the virus. That's helped their market caps, it's helped their profitability. So those are the impact that pandemic has had. But even for the individual, next slide, which is slide 12. For individual, pandemic has had a direct impact on most of us in this room, or some of our friends, or some of our family members. First impact is unemployment. During the lockdown period, most organizations actually slashed salaries. You slash salary, you're at home, they haven't even whether you need to work from home. You know, you talk about Zoom and the rest of them. It took some of the companies a while to actually be able to work remotely. For them to install Microsoft Teams or Zoom and the rest of them, you know, it took a while. So some actually laid off staff. And this created unemployment worldwide. Inflation was also a byproduct of the pandemic crisis. Health challenges, which was compounded by limited social interaction. We human beings naturally were social beings. Especially the Yorubas who love the Owa. They couldn't come to reality that you can only invite 50 people to a wedding. They couldn't come to a reality that you cannot hug somebody who was celebrating his birthday and is your family member. And the resultant impact on individuals, more than unemployment, inflation, and challenges, or limited social challenges, is mental illness. A lot of people have gone through mental illness. That's why you see most organizations are running trainings for their staff on mental illness, how to cope. You know what it means I mean, to be honest with you, I'll share my own experience. I'm actually in this country in 2 months at a stretch, because my work covers Africa. So I'm either in one conference or the other, one meeting or the other. And when we had a lockdown, and the global directive from KPMG Global was no travel. You can't even do local travel without approval by the partner. The other reality that came to the front, and I don't know whether most of the deans and professors here, and most of the Aquila, the reading class members, I got the experience was my wife was the happiest person. Because I was on lockdown, and I think the lockdown provided the best and the highest quality of interaction I've ever had with my family. So there is also positive element to this lockdown. I know some of us also had a bout of COVID, and for us to be here today means we survived it. Thank God for that. I had my own experience. I tested 3, 4, 5 times over 1 month. It was negative. But I was weak. I was coughing. I couldn't explain it. Sometimes I would just, in the morning, for me to get vitamin C and vitamin E, I would step out to my car park and I would sit down. Under the sun around 11 a.m. in the morning. Then I would look at my cars. And I would say to myself, God, who's going to be driving this car after? And that was the beginning of mental illness. So I had to wake up and tell myself, wake up. It's a reality. Battle you can face it. Slide 13. Despite these challenges, disruptive technologies are found used by government, by businesses, by individuals to respond to this crisis. In Rwanda, Sigline is using drones to deliver essential goods, blood, medical supplies, and potentially vaccines today. There's been a surge in telemedicine platforms across the globe. The global online education platform like Coursera and edX have made thousands of available courses to students for free. Something unique. But at the point in time, I'm sure most of you saw Harvard Business School, Wharton, Yale, ECI were offering some courses free, online courses. Upskilling and talent as a service, things like Andela, the Bear in Africa, or Rebello in Latin America are proposing their business model to train workers in the most big demand skills. Combo 360 in Nigeria and Black Hawk in India are rebalancing travel volume from low demand to high demand goods. So you see collaborations and challenges are creating opportunities are suddenly turning to opportunities as a result of the response to the pandemic. Slide 15. Let me move to disruptive technologies and the new normal, which is the opportunities it's created. And I'll start with the first one. That despite all these challenges, that disruptive technologies are being used by government and businesses, and the disruptive technology and the new normal, today, social and economic changes may propel the potential of disruptive technologies to unprecedented heights. And we're seeing that. And the use of disruptive technologies plays a major role today in ensuring business continuity. And I've highlighted some of the opportunities that they created across the following segments: fintech, healthcare, future of work, education, retail, and logistics. Let me start with fintech. And that's slide 15. The coronavirus pandemic is benefiting the fintech industry significantly by accelerating the automation of banking and insurance services. There was a 70% surge in the use of fintech apps in Europe over just a week as consumers adjusted to social distancing, self-isolation, and lockdown. PayPal, Monzo, Barclays mobile applications featured as the most downloaded apps in March 2020. The announcement of the closure of non-essential retailers across the world sparked a global surge in online shopping. 27% of small businesses in the United States reported an increase in contactless payments made via smartphones. In Seattle, based remedy that helps people send money overseas had customer growth of 100% increase from February to March 2020 and registered a 40% growth in transaction for quality. Back home in Africa, Safaricom, a mobile operator providing mobile money solutions and parcel data, have waived fees to reduce the physical exchange of products. The fintech industry is one of the biggest threats to the banks today. They emerge out of disruptive technology. They tend to command the payment platforms today. And the kind of salaries that fintech are offering, which great opportunity for most of you in this room, if you choose that career path, is they're offering 5 or 6 times the salaries than an ordinary bank is offering. And they're sustaining it because it's in dollars. Let me move to the next slide, 16, healthcare. In terms of healthcare innovation, we've seen simulations, bots, software tools have been used to trace people who came in contact with COVID-19 patients. You know, in Nigeria, we still say write your phone number, and after the phone number, we call the number, deal with medical emergency. But today, applications have been developed to track whoever you come in contact with, and they will tell you at the point in time you think you are heavily exposed. For those who have traveled recently, you know that UK government comes down heavily. They call your number every day when you are meant to observe that isolation. And I've heard some Nigerians leave their phone at home and somebody will pick up the call. They say it's at home. In the evening, the policeman will come to the house and say, "Can I see Mr. Tipi?" Then Mr. Tipi will not be there. Professor Kaya will be the one there. In the healthcare sector, Amazon, Microsoft joined the COVID-19 high performance computing consortium, whose key objective is to make world-class cloud computers more accessible to COVID-19 researchers to rapidly advance scientific research which will enter the sector. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention have developed cloud an automated chatbot in collaboration with Microsoft, which can teach people about the underlying symptoms of COVID-19. We've seen researchers are working with Fitbit and Scripps researchers to create wearables that will wear today, all the Fitbit stuff we wear today, that may help to detect and contain the spread of infectious disease. So what's going to happen very soon that those Fitbits that you use to measure your blood pressure, measure how many steps you are taking, or you are not taking, it's been used to actually detect COVID. Very soon, in the next 1 year, you'll be able to detect whether you are diabetic. You have to detect whether you have high blood pressure. You have to detect whether you have malaria. So you don't need to. Once you check it, you don't know have malaria. Now it's time to call it off. So that is where the world is going. Smartphone cameras and sensors are also increasingly being used as fast, accurate, and low-cost devices for medical diagnosis today. You have to visit any medical center. In UK, less than 1% of initial medical consultations happened there globally in 2019. While under COVID period lockdown, 100% of the consultations happened. That is what disruptive technology and COVID has defined the world as. Now move to slide 17, the future of work. And that's extremely important for us in this room. As professionals, as postgraduate students, as enlightened people of the society, a pivot to working from home has accentuated the benefits of cloud-based services within organizations. For interacting with clients and and delivering products and services. Remote working has sufficient to increase demand from the data centers and support streaming and cloud computing. There has been an increase in the number of organizations today that have adopted collaborative tools like Microsoft Teams, Atlassian, Sender, Educ Document Cloud, Zoom, for cloud-based video conferences and distance training. The pandemic has revealed the importance of Internet of Things to companies for business continuity. The IoT and middle warehouse technologies have enhanced transparency in global supply chain. Retail data and products journey have facilitated rapid responses to shift in demand. IoT also includes network of CCTV cameras and smart connected sensors that have enabled clients to continue operating with reduced demand involvement. I can tell you most organizations today, KPMG has not reopened, ExxonMobil has not reopened, Chevron has not reopened, and we are planning to reopen October 1. But then in reopening, we still want to keep social distancing. And in keeping those social distancing, what we found out when we did the survey was that 50% of our staff say they don't want to come back to the office. They are even asking for options, whether they can actually work from the UK, or they could work from Abuja, or work from Dubai. And we've had to say, you can work from anywhere. Now, what is the implication of that? It has an implication. If the client demands for physical appearance, it means you have to come around. But it also has implication for accountants on tax. Your PAYE tax says you must spend the number of days in a year in a particular location for you to pay your PAYE to that particular state. We'll be remitting the PAYE of our staff to Lagos State. So if somebody that comes from Militia Remo decides to work for Militia Remo for the next 3 years, it means legally his tax should be paid to the state, not to Lagos State. So all this is going to redefine how we work in the future. Not only that, I can't remember the last time I had this school meeting, except I had to go to Abuja to meet the Minister of Presidency. We've done strategy sessions for clients remotely, everybody joining remotely. And it's as effective as physical meeting. And I know that in this lecture today, there are people who have done remotely. It's just the new norm, and we just have to face it that that's the reality. Let's take retail and logistics. Slide 18. In the retail sector, e-commerce platforms are broadening their product lines to essential goods and services like agri-food and hygiene. Big Basket in India, an online grocery platform, raised 60 million in funding while the country was in lockdown. It was during the lockdown period that a major company in Nigeria also recapitalized and raised $200 million additional capital. Sugar Food, the business-to-business e-commerce platform that specializes in delivering agricultural products to vendors in urban areas, has partnered with Jumia in Kenya to reach customers. The company in Nigeria, Trade Depot, and Max AB in Egypt are annual distribution of goods together to informal retailers that are seeking to manage operating expenditures and to limit the risk of infection at private wholesale offline markets. The e-commerce and retail and logistics sector were yet to see the impact of disruptive technology. Why do you think Amazon suddenly shot, if they suddenly shot in terms of capital, their market cap? We're going to see more of that because most of us will not even have time to shop anymore. Physical shop. Slide 19. The opportunities presented by pandemic on a global scale is quite interesting. There were challenges that it created, even on a business level and on an individual level, where we had, even people had been through mental illness. But the opportunity that the Chinese word for challenge is the same thing with opportunity. So, you see something as a challenge, Some people see it as opportunity. I'm sure you heard the story of a man, an Indian guy that was on a food bridge in a major area in Mumbai. And he saw thousands of people walking, barefooted, Indians in those days. And people saw those as challenge. What kind of challenge? Apart from we have thousands and millions of people walking barefooted because of poverty. But the guy saw it as an opportunity. He developed a very cheap slippers and started marketing it in India. And it became one of the largest footwear companies today. So for me, I always see challenges as opportunities. So the opportunity presented on a global scale is quite interesting. However, there is significant opportunity in Nigeria market today. We've talked about disruptive technology. We've talked about the impact of pandemic. We've talked about the impact of this disruptive technology on our skills and our essence. But this environment, Nigeria, presents a fertile ground for innovation using disruptive technology. And I will highlight some salient points. Why do you think Twitter? Why do you think Google? Microsoft? Why do you think they're interested in Nigeria? Today, I get called at least once a week by one of the original equipment manufacturers, OEM, either Microsoft, Apple, for one collaboration or the other. One of the reasons is that Nigeria is one of the largest millennial populations in the world. With a population of 200 million people, with 62% of that population below 25 years old, it's a very immense opportunity. 5G, accelerating transition to 5G in telecommunications is going to provide a lot of opportunities for build-out of infrastructures. And we're seeing MTN, we're seeing IHS doing that already. Those are companies that you should watch out for because they're investing significantly in infrastructure. We've seen increased mobile penetration. What it means is that more will be pushed through mobile communication. Increasing enterprise digitization. Smartphone growth, which is driven by increasing affordability. Today, you can actually get a smartphone for as cheap as 15,000 naira. That can do all the WhatsApp, can do all the things we're doing. And that's why the drivers, the house helps, and they can even afford smartphones. And there's growing demand for third-party platform technologies. Ladies and gentlemen, the Nigerian market presents opportunities in all sectors of the market that disruptive technologies creating. There are a few of the sectors of note. Slide 20. Agri-tech is one of them. Agriculture sector is moving beyond just the simple value chain, production and cultivation to agri-tech. And people are enhancing the agri-tech sector. Educ is a sector that is currently heavily financed by international banks and organizations. People are looking at creating platforms where you don't have to have physical infrastructure for education. Fintech, as mentioned earlier on, is disrupting the banking and insurance sectors today. E-commerce, significant impact on retail and logistics. But one thing I found interesting from a recent research we did, and I did share the KPMG experience with you, increasingly, because of remote working, people are not conveniently having 2 appointments, 3 appointments. I was talking to somebody in the US yesterday, and she told me she just picked up a top job. And these are multinational companies, AstraZeneca, Johnson & Johnson, and Pfizer. 3 top companies. And the 3 of them are aware that she's doing 3 jobs. All she needed was 3 laptops. And and she's working remotely from home. That is defining the future of work. And it's defining the opportunities that we see. However, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, the Aquila graduating class member, taking advantage of these opportunities will require very intentional effort. It's not business as usual. I will close by saying a future-ready professional should seek to embrace this change. If you don't know how to write programs in Python, go and learn how to write programs in Python. If you don't know how to write programs in C++, go and learn how to write programs in C++. It is not a reserve of programmers or computer science graduates anymore. Every professional should know how to program. Because most of the jobs require you programming. So you need to embrace this change. And don't be scared and run away from the impact of disruptive technology. I'm an old man, by standard, but I still do cyber security, I do all these things. It's just your mind. If professors keep writing papers, and it's being assessed every year, then there's no reason why we couldn't embrace change. But as we embrace this change, my message to you is that you need to upskill and continue to refine your skill set. The Python, C++ I mentioned, there's no big deal about that. Our children, for most of us, our children taught us how to use some of this technology. We need to get to a stage where we can actually compare notes with them and also challenge them. And as we uplift our skills, I would say continue to refocus. RPA, artificial intelligence, will take away all the mundane operational things from you. And you need to start focusing on strategic things. In conclusion, I charge you to go forth and disrupt the norms, create your own value, make impact, and the world is your oyster. That's all.